Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1630, Ways to Feel Happier. Now, hang on, I got to bring up my list so I don't forget what I'm talking about. And welcome to all of our live people on TikTok as well. Okay, so we're going to talk about ways to feel happier in a hurry. There are plenty of ways to help yourself feel happier quickly. You don't need a trip to Spain or a new car to make it for a life makeover. Small actions can give a swift boost to your outlook and put a smile on your face. Yeah, I always like to make sure, my saying is no matter what happens today is always super fantastic and sparkling. So try some of these activities to feel better and enjoy the rest of your day or the rest of your evening, or try them out tomorrow. Who knows? Let's see. Number one, go for a brisk walk. That always makes me feel happy. And what is going on with my hair tonight? We'll figure about that one out later. So number one is go for a brisk walk. I love going for walks. And Zephy, of course, loves her walks as well. So we go walking every morning. And lately, it has to be a brisk walk because the temperature has been anywhere from, let's see, we had 29 degrees through to 39 degrees. So we had that in Fahrenheit, which in Celsius, if I remember, is -1 to about 5, maybe 6 degrees Celsius. I have to go back and look at my thing again. But I love getting out there in the mornings in that crisp, cold air, taking some deep breaths and blowing them out and getting that nice, crisp, cold air just sort of like energizes you. And then going for a brisk walk. We have a park that's close by that we walk to every day, and they've got these beautiful trees there, these beautiful garden areas that we can go walking around. And just being out in nature like that just makes me feel happy anyway. So I don't have a problem with going for a brisk walk every morning, but going for a brisk walk helps the endorphins because, exercise creates the endorphins. Endorphins make you happy. And if you've ever watched Legally Blonde, you know the rest of that saying. A little exercise can lift your mood in a big way, which is so true. Avoid being too leisurely if you want to brighten your day outlook. You've got to do that faster pace, that brisk walk. Consider bringing along a good friend. I have my four-legged companion, Zephy, who goes with me every day whenever I go out for a walk. So that's always a good, she does not walk slow. Sometimes I'm walking with my arm out like this because she's at full leash extension and she just wants, let's go. On the return home, she likes to walk a little slower. I like to walk a little faster. So the other way that you can briskly make yourself feel happier is to make a gratitude list. What are you grateful for in this space and time? Think you don't have anything to be grateful for. Think again. Make a list of everything in your life that you can view in a positive light. Do you have family, friends? You'll be grateful for those. Have you recently made an accomplishment of some sort? Be grateful for the knowledge or the skills that allowed you to be able to make that, to complete that accomplishment. Just think of things that you can do. It could be like, this is one of my favorite colors. So I'm always grateful that I have clothes in my favorite colors, purple, blues, that I can wear because I know I look good and I feel good in them. So that's another thing I can be grateful for. I'm always grateful for Zephy because life would be very boring without her. That's as much as I can say. Number 3, volunteer. Volunteer. Do something for a stranger in need. Do something without expectation of a return. That's how I always say when it comes to being of service to somebody else. Do it without expectation of a return. Your perspective regarding your own situation will shift and you'll feel good about yourself too. So when you're out helping others who may be in a worse situation than what you're in, it helps you feel grateful for what you do, for who you are and what you have as well. So remember that. Number 4, this is one of my favorite ones. Number 4, declutter your house or office. If that's just too ambitious, just think of decluttering a closet, your desk, a drawer. You only need to do, and I set a timer. When I want to go in and declutter something, well, at this point, I'm actually still unpacking boxes. Been in the house 7 months, still unpacking boxes. So I set the timer for 15 minutes, and I go into the room where the boxes are, and I just start unpacking and sorting through them. You know, the trash, the donate pile, the to sell pile, the put away pile. And I just go for that until the timer goes off. And then I hit that the timer's off. And depending on what's on my schedule, I may even keep going. I've been known to go for 3 hours on a 10-minute timer. Having a clean and tidy space brings a sense of a sigh of relief. Plus, when you physically declutter your space, you actually mentally declutter your brain, because your brain suddenly feels like there's been this weight lifted off it with the physical clutter around has now been cleared, and your brains are like, oh, and suddenly you've got that more creative side coming out. You suddenly find solutions to issues that you've been having. So think of when you're physically decluttering something, that you're also decluttering your mind and making room for more good things to come in. Number 5, share a meal with someone you love. I would love to do that. Unfortunately, when you're a widow, that doesn't happen as much. So have a nice chat and reminisce about good old days. You know, call up a friend, call up a family member, even if you sit on a Zoom call with your family and enjoy a meal together. So, you know, Zephy and I will sit down and have our meals together as well. She's eating her food's just over to the side by near the table. Her food's over there, her breakfast. I'm eating my breakfast. No, that's how it goes. Sometimes I'll sit on the couch and eat dinner in front of, sometimes, not all the time, eat dinner in front of the TV, and she's sitting right next to me on the cushion with her nose about here, sniffing whatever comes. Whenever I lift my hand up, her nose comes a little closer to the fork to see what I've got on the fork and would I share it with her. So yeah, that's just our things. But if I can get together with family and friends and we go out for a meal together, or we have a meal at somebody's place together, or at my place, that is like the ultimate. I love doing that. Even though I am an outgoing introvert and being around people absolutely drains my energy, and then I have to have my quiet time to recharge my batteries, I still love being around people. So I just do that. And reminiscing about good old days and all of that sort of stuff too helps you feel happy, because you're bringing back all those really good memories and things as well. Another way to help you feel happier is take a nap. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you the number of times when, and especially with grief is like the worst thing you can probably go through, because your mind is around the fact that you are grieving. Your body takes time to catch up with that grief, to recognize the fact that that person is no longer around, even though you're still expecting them to walk through the door at any moment. And sometimes a nap is the best medicine when you had that mood down in the dumps. There are times when I will, where I'm just like, I am dragging. I will be sitting here working and I'm literally falling asleep at the desk. And I'm constantly waking myself up. And if it's not my set time in the afternoons where I have to be online for a set number of hours, I'll just look at Zeph and says, come on, snoozle time. We call them snoozles here. And so we go off and we'll have like a 20-minute break. And there's this really cool HemiSync program. It's HemiSync, and it deals with the wave, the sound wave thingies. I don't remember which ones they work on, but you have to have like headphones on when you're listening to it, because the ears have to be equal distance from the speakers. So headphones work really well. I actually have a sleep mask that has speakers on it that works on Bluetooth, and I put that HemiSync cat napper on. It's 30 minutes, and I will tell you how good this cat napper thing is. If I am on a long haul flight, anything 5 hours or longer, about an hour out from wherever we're going, I will put the HemiSync. I have my noise canceling headphones on anyway, but I will switch it over to cat napper, and I will do that 30-minute program. And I wake up 30 minutes before we land, feeling refreshed and ready. And I'm like, let's get going. I'm where I need to be. Let's get going. I've got energy to burn. Whereas if you've been on planes, you know how most people are sort of like, oh, we're here, and they're not really racing to get off. They're kind of a little sleepy. No, I am ready to go. I am ready to rock and roll. So sometimes I will go and put my sleep mask on, put that cat napper on, take my 30-minute, it's a 30-minute nap, this one, take my 30-minute nap, and I'm ready to go again. I just did that little boost. And of course, when you've had good sleep, you're feeling energized. When you're feeling energized, you're feeling happy. Number 7, you can try meditation or yoga. I'm not a big yoga fan, although when Zephy gets up and she does like downward dog, I'm like, oh, we're doing that, are we? So I will copy her and do downward dog at that point too. It actually is a really good stretch, that one. And I do a couple of stretches. Since I'm down on the floor doing downward dog with the dog, I'll do a couple of stretches while I'm down there. But meditation, you can discover how you can take control of your mind. And with practice, you'll be amazed at how much better you feel just after a few minutes. I have the Calm app on my phone, and they have some really good meditations on there as well. And they have this 5-minute one, which is called Move. And it's just 5 minutes every morning, just doing some sort of movement. And I tried it for the first time, and I thought, this is pretty cool. So, and they're kind of doing a meditation while they're doing the movements as well. So that helps, because I'm not one that can sit still for very long. If you can tell, I talk with my hands a lot. Another one, listen to music. Oh my gosh. I have Spotify on my phone. I will have it here. I've got the Bluetooth speaker on so I can listen to it while I work. There are times I have to pause it because I have to go record like a Loom video with some instructions for people on what they need to do. But having that playlist that has all of those upbeat songs that help you feel good, take you back to your childhood. I mean, I'm listening to the 80s all the time because that's the music I grew up with. That was the music that had the most impression on me when I was growing up. So I'm listening to music from the 80s, and those dance beats come on. And if I'm not busy on the computer, I will actually stand up and start dancing around the office. Zevi kind of looks at me like, you crazy. But, they say, but have you ever noticed that some songs will make you want to get up and dance? They make you want to get up. They've got that beat. They've got that rhythm. And it's just like you can't sit still with them. And there's times, and it's called, there's actually a thing called car dancing. It was, I did a short video on this like a few years ago, that you spend something like 6 months of your life waiting for a traffic light to go from red to green. 6 months of your life. I'm like, really? And so when I'm at a red traffic light, what do? I car dance. Got some good car moving. You just sit there and you just start car dancing. And I look, and I can see out of the corner of my eye, you can see peripheral vision plays really good, that you can see what people are sort of like, what the heck? And I've been at lights and I've seen other people car dancing, and I waved at them too. They've waved back, and it just boosts the mood. So find those songs that make you get up and want to dance, because when you get up, you dance, you're moving. What happens when you're doing movement like that brisk movement, is you're creating those endorphins, and endorphins make you happy. And music is just what the doctor ordered. They want you to be happy. They want you moving more. So putting good music on that helps you with that is fantastic. Number 9, watch a movie that makes you feel good. Oh, there are so many good movies out there. I love my movies. And some people will say, why are you watching that? It's such a depressive. And it's like, no, it just energizes me, makes me feel good. So I will just go through, and it's sort of like, what am I in the mood for? An action movie? Maybe I'll do a chick flick day. And Brad always used to laugh at this one with chick flick days, because he knew the first movie would be a chick flick. So he only had to suffer for 90 minutes on chick flicks. And then the rest of the day would be all action movies. That was our chick flick day. So yeah, first movie is a chick flick. The rest are all action movies. And that just helps me feel, and I just feel good. And especially when you get the action going, because sometimes when you really get in, if you just get in present and in the moment with the movie, you're in there with the action. You've got the adrenaline pumping. You've got, even if you've seen the movie like 10, 20, 30, 40 times, and you know exactly what's going to happen, there's still that little part in your brain that turns around and says, maybe they've learned their lesson by now, and they're not going to open that door, or they're not going to go through that thing, or they're ready this time for the person that's about to jump them. Things like, you get all sorts of fun things going through your head. Some movies can have the same effect on you as the right song. So that's how I look at it too. I got my music that gets me dancing. I've got movies that I will watch that make me feel good. So, watch a movie. Do something nice for a friend, a coworker, or a loved one. Again, it's that beautiful surprise, paying it forward, doing something without the expectation of a return. Maybe you notice that a coworker is struggling a little bit, and so you go and make them a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, or just do something that will help alleviate their stress in that day. Maybe it's just, hey, you want to go for a walk and have a talk. Maybe it's just something like that, or with a friend doing the same thing. The idea is similar to volunteering, but do something nice for someone you know. So this is doing it for someone you know. You might even do it anonymously. And there's been times that I have done that as well. Go and do something for somebody anonymously, and it It feels good. And of course, they're talking about it and all that, and you're like, and you start feeling good because they don't know that you're the person that did that. You just did it as a surprise for them, and you don't say a word. And if they ask you about it, you have no idea, don't have a clue. If you have kids, spend time with kids. I will tell you this. I love spending time with my grandkids. And when we were living in San Diego, I would take the youngest one to the San Diego Zoo. And seeing the zoo through their eyes was just an incredible thing. Either San Diego Zoo or the safari park. But seeing it through my oldest grandson's eyes when we used to do that was just such a refreshing approach. And of course, you're present, you're in the moment, and you're not worrying about other things that are going on. And sometimes spending time with children will just brighten your mood and your perspective. I mean, who hasn't spent time with kids where you haven't started laughing with them? I got to have a really fun time in October when I got to babysit my oldest 3 grandsons for a few days while their parents went out of town. I was exhausted at the end of that time, but my heart was so full of love and joy and happiness. Because we just had, yes, we had our tense moments because they were testing grandma, how far can we push grandma? But most of the time we were laughing, we were playing, we were just having fun. And just to sit there and just to watch them interact with each other and just play. And then they did the Brahms sandwich, which is where the oldest one gets on the floor, then the middle one's on top of him, and then the youngest one's on top of that. And that's how they would just like lay on the floor for a few minutes. It was kind of fun to watch that. And just some of the things, of course, kids say the darndest things. It's a great program to watch, but in real life, it is hilarious when you're sitting there and the kids come out with the craziest things that they can think of and everything else. Number 12, plan your dream vacation. There's somewhere that everybody wants to go and wants to see and wants to experience. So why not plan it? Sometimes when you think, oh, it's just too expensive and all that. No, if you find the right travel professional, they can actually look to see what deals are available. It may not be as expensive as you think. So why not do that planning? Do those initial inquiries to find out how much it is. Because if it is a dream vacation and you want to plan for it, you actually want to plan for it, at least then you've got an idea of what the cost is going to be and you can start working it out. You can, hang on, where's that go? You can investigate the best time of the year to travel to your dream destination as well. And again, look at the prices of the flights. What type of hotels do you want to stay in? Make a tentative itinerary. And not only is it bound to lift your mood, but the planning process is free. Oh my gosh. Yes, it's free. There's different tour companies. If you're looking at doing land, there's different tour companies you can go with. You can even do the self-drive ones in some countries as well. There's even ones for those that like to cycle. There's some cycling tours that you can do in some countries where they provide the bikes. In fact, there was one where I actually got specifically asked by a client, could they take their own seats and pedals? And the bike company were absolutely, whatever makes them more comfortable. And they had different levels of difficulty based on the itinerary. So you could do the challenging track, or you could do the easy track, and you all ended up in the same place. You just took different routes to get to the areas for the next night and that sort of thing. So it was kind of cool. Number 13, to help you feel happier in a hurry, spend time with animals. Oh my gosh. If I want a crazy time with my dog, I would tell you this. We come back from a walk, and as soon as she gets off her leash, she runs straight for the back door. I open the door and she goes zooming out and starts doing her zooms up and down the backyard. We've got this big planter box that was there that goes the width of the backyard and down the sides a bit. And she just gets in that thing and just zooms backwards and forwards. So she's not running on the gravel. That's the main part of the backyard. She's in this area. It's all dirt and she can just zoom, and she loves it in there. And then I get in there and play ball with her. And sometimes when we're playing tug with the ball, trying to get the ball out of her mouth, she just gets crazy eyes. You see the whites around her eyes because of the way she's looking at you. It's playing with Zeffy it's just so much fun. So play with your pet. Research shows that petting a cat can lower your blood pressure. I thought if you pet any animal, it can lower your blood pressure. If you don't have any pets, the local petting zoo is another option. And people are probably going, what the hell is she saying? Pet, P-E-T. Like my E's sound like I's probably. Number 14, remove a stressor from your life. It might be a person, a bad tire on your car, a recurring bill, or an obligation that that you need to let go. Maybe it's time to cut those cords and just let go of whatever it is that's causing you a lot of stress. Is it something that you absolutely have to do? Is it something that you've been doing for a while and it's starting to stress you out? Maybe it's time to look for something different. So be prepared to cut those cords of those things that are stressing you out, because maybe that's run its course and it's time to do something new. You never know. Number 15, buy yourself something small. Buying things isn't a way to happiness, but it can give you a great boost to your mood in the short term. A good magazine, I will tell you this, I love going and getting magazines. Why? Because they fuel my dreams and my goals, and I find inspiration in them. Also, too, I like to pull out some of the articles, pop them in an envelope, put somebody's address on it, and send it to them. Say, hey, saw this article and thought of you. So a good magazine, a trip to a coffee shop, really fails to bring a smile when people are getting their caffeine fix. The next time you're feeling down, try a quick pick-me-up. There are plenty of simple steps that you can take to feel back on top of the world. Take control of your mood and have a great day. And those are 15 ways to feel happier in a hurry. Yes, I raced through them. I'm sorry. But that's just the way I roll. I like to, doing this stuff and sharing this. This is part of my service. Providing a service to others by helping them live their best life now in some way. And part of living your best life now is making sure that you're in a happy mood, that you feel good about yourself, you feel good about your circumstances. You find ways, if you're going through circumstances that are tough, find somebody that you can talk to about it. And even things like grief, it is okay to be happy. I'll say that again. It is okay to be happy. Your loved one that has left would want you to be happy. Brad and I had long discussions about this, and we call them the 3 a.m. conversations, and we started doing them just after he was diagnosed with cancer. And he said we had these 3 a.m. conversations. 3 a.m. conversation is, it's the middle of the night. I don't care what time it is. We call it 3 a.m. And you're awake, and the other person is awake, and you just start talking. And those were our 3 a.m. conversations in the dark, just while we're laying there next to each other in the dark, just having these really deep conversations. And he was, if anything happens to me, he says, I want you to be happy. And he made me before he passed, he made me promise that I would keep moving forward with our goals and dreams, which I then had to kind of tweak them a little bit, since it was only going to be me doing the goals and dreams, but with me in spirit. So yeah, there are, it is okay to be happy. They want you to be happy. If you find love again, you find love again. If you don't, you don't. Brad always told me it'd be okay to go he was okay if I went and found somebody else. And I'm just like, yeah, no. And he looks at me and he goes, what do you mean? And because I heard his head turn on the pillow, and looking at me and he goes, what do you mean? No. I said, you're it. I'm done. He's all like, never say never. And I'm like, yeah, I know that saying. I got it. I get it. I get it. So find ways that make you happy. What are some of the ways that make you happy? Put them in the comments below. Put them in the comments so that we can see some other ways to be happy, to help you be happy in a hurry. Maybe it's going for a drive, going for a drive. We've done that before too. Hopped in the car. I've said to Zephyr, let's go for a ride in the car. And she's sort of like, okay. So we go for a ride in the car and come back. And we feel good because we got out of the house and we went and did something. Did we go anywhere? Not really. When Zephyr and I go for a drive in the car with no destination in mind, which is fun to do, every time you come up to a traffic light, the decision is, I keep forgetting about that thing, left, right, or straight ahead. And so I'll look in the rearview mirror as I see the traffic lights coming up, and I'll go and look to see, is it a 4-way intersection, a 2-way, because it might be a T intersection. And I'll look in the rearview mirror and I go, Zephy, left, right, or straight ahead. And whichever way she turns ahead, that's the way we go. We've ended up in some interesting places that way, but it's been a lot of fun. But anyway, so that's it from us for this evening. 15 quick ways to be happy in a hurry. You can always tune into these podcasts as well. Hopefully they'll bring you some happiness too. if you have, please leave in the comments what ways you like to, what things you like to do to be happy, what makes you happy in a hurry. And we will be back tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Actually, no, tomorrow night we're going to be back later because I have my mastermind group. Starts at 5 p.m. Pacific, and I'm not sure if we will be done in time. So we'll be back on at 7 p.m. around 7 p.m. Pacific. I can't give you an exact time because it's based on when my mastermind call ends. So go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow night. Hei konera.